3 games, 1 win, bowl eligibility on the line. That is what Syracuse football is dealing with right now. The Orange took a trip down south to take on Louisville over the weekend. Did Cuse grab the win? Is SU headed to the postseason? You'll have to stick around to find out.
And Syracuse men's basketball took care of business in its season opener with a 34-point win over Lafayette. Now, the Orange look to make it 2 for 2 on the season against Drexel. The Dragons are no slouch, though. They made it all the way to March Madness last year. Could Syracuse stave off an early season upset?
B-ball season is just getting going while SU field hockey is wrapping up its 2021 campaign. After a semifinal exit in the ACC tournament, Syracuse grabbed an at-large bid in the NCAA tourney and was in action last weekend. We'll tell you how the Orange danced and so much more. This is On the Bench, and it starts right now. Welcome one, welcome all to On the Bench. Boy, do we have a busy one for you today. Jaron May, Johnny Gadamowitz. We will be guiding you through the hecticness that is crossover season, and that's spelled SZN, season. Johnny, you ready?
I'm ready, Jaron. Let's do it.
Well, we're going to start off with our headlines of the week. And with our headlines, Syracuse made history over the weekend, not on the court, but up in the rafters. For the first time ever, the university retired a women's jersey. Former SU women's basketball star Felicia Leggett-Jack's number 33 was hung in the dome and will never be worn again. Leggett-Jack played from 1985 to 1989 and was all-conference All-American and finished in the top 10 in program history in scoring, rebounding, and field goals made. This is one of 3 women's jersey retirements Syracuse is conducting this school year.
Basketball season may just be getting underway, but looking towards the future, the Orange were very busy this past week during National Signing Day. Syracuse landed 5 recruits for the class of 2022, and some pretty highly regarded ones at that. Chris Bunch, Justin Taylor, Kadir Copeland, Malik Brown, and Peter Carey make up next year's group. Headlining the class is Chris Bunch, a 4-star, 6'8" forward from California, and he should fit in pretty nicely with Syracuse. Shooting, particularly from beyond the arc, is Bunch's strength. Also worth noting among the group is Kadir Copeland, a speedy point guard out of IMG Academy in Florida. Copeland actually verbally committed to the Cuse back in August, but made it official by putting pen to paper this past week.
From players coming in to players leaving, Syracuse football backup quarterback Dylan Markowitz has announced he is leaving SU and entering the transfer portal. The Texas native hasn't played this season and only saw time in 2 games last year. Markowitz was a 3-star recruit coming into SU and still has 4 years of eligibility left. So, without Markowitz, Syracuse football made the trip down to Kentucky this weekend to face off against Louisville. The Cardinals have had the Orange's number in recent years. Under head coach Dino Babers, SU is just 1-4 against U of L. And most recently, the Cards blanked Cuse 30-0 last season. But with bowl eligibility on the line, Syracuse had a reason to fight this time around. Let's roll the tape to check out how this one went down. It was a cold one down in Kentucky, and you can tell because Michael Jones, no armbands, he had to wear the full sleeves. But it was the Cardinals' offense that was on fire early. Malik Cunningham, the oh-so-dangerous quarterback, scores on the first U of L drive, so it's 7-0 Cardinals at that point. The Orange, they get down the field, they stall a little bit, but they put 3 on the board thanks to Andre Schmidt, 7-3, still Louisville. But then the Cardinals put the foot all the way down. A 33-yard hookup from Cunningham to Tyler Harrell. 14-3 at that point. On the other side, the Syracuse offense just couldn't get going. Garrett Schrader gets sacked. What are you going to do about that? That was the name of the game. 1 of 4 sacks for Schrader on the day. And then Cunningham, he's advertised as a running quarterback, but he showed off his arm. 200 passing yards, 1 of 4 passing touchdowns right there. Here's number 2 as the Cards went into the halftime break up 35-3. At halftime, a pretty cool ceremony. Lamar Jackson retiring his number 8 jersey at Louisville. In the second half, well, it was more of the same. Syracuse finally got some momentum on the offensive side. Garrett Schrader coughs it up, and the Orange would never find pay dirt. They fall 41-3, and after the game, a pretty, smart and good-looking guy was down there to recap it all. This end zone was a familiar place for the Cardinals today as Louisville dominated Syracuse 41-3. The 38-point margin to defeat was the worst Syracuse suffered since way back in 2019. The SU offense only mustered 181 total yards today. That's the worst all season. Now, you can look up and down the stat sheet. It'll tell you the same thing that head coach Dino Babers and the players said after the game. This was just a bad loss.
I'm not going to signal out any single position group because I think there's enough blame to go around. I'm not going to get into the blame game. As a family, we did not perform extremely well. Some of those things were, you can break it up to defense, offense, and special teams. I thought we got beaten all three phases.
I mean, I thought we executed for the most part. I slipped up one time in the first half, but for the most part, it was a lot mentally. But we were in our game plan as how we thought it would go, but it seemed like they had our number today.
It gets harder and harder. I agree. This one, we feel like we could have had this one because we know we prepared a lot for this, but it hurts. So we're just going to keep on pushing, keep our head down. That's all.
The Orange were melancholy after the game, but they better turn those frowns upside down quickly because they only have 2 more opportunities to grab 1 more victory to become bowl eligible. The next opportunity is next Saturday at NC State. Reporting from Cardinal Stadium, Jaron May, CitrusTV.
Well, thank you, Jaron. You think back to just a few weeks ago when it was close loss after close loss. FSU, Wake, Clemson. Shoulda, coulda, woulda for SU football. Now, SU basketball was also in action, trying to defend the Loud House against Drexel. Syracuse got the season started last week with an emphatic 97-63 win over Lafayette. The newbies shined in their debuts, and leading the way was Jimmy Boeheim with 18 points. Could that momentum carry over into Game 2 against Drexel? Early on, the Dragons getting it done in their season opener as well. They're 1-0. And look, it's no secret Jesse Edwards could be the X factor for this Syracuse team this year, and there he's cleaning up the mess for an early lay-in. Syracuse with an early lead. This Dragon squad, though, they're known for the 3-ball, and this time it was Matei Okros. Great ball movement, SU defense not closing out quick enough. On the other end, Cole Swider gets the defender to bite on a nice ball fake and cashes in for 2. But again, later, Drexel, that 3-ball was huge. This time, it was Travion Brown. Drexel wouldn't go away. A little bit later in the first half, Malik Martin getting in on the action as well, make it 31-25 Drexel. They shot 37% from downtown as a team collectively. But this one was a story of 2 halves. Second half, Buddy finding his brother Jimmy. Nifty little move down on the block, laying it in with the right hand. And then later, SU turning defense into offense. Buddy with the steal, Swider in transition. And from there, SU would just cruise. A little bit later, we haven't called Buddy's name a ton, but in the ISO game, gets a little free throw line turnaround Jay to roll in off of a kind roll off the bounce. And again, Buddy just later would keep it going. SU goes on to outscore Drexel 43-27 in the second half. And oh yeah, we haven't called his name at all. Joe Girard III, he was perfect. 3 for 3 from downtown, 5 for 5 from downtown last game. He hasn't missed just yet. John Dales tells us how the second half surge went.
On the Jeopardy board filed under things you didn't expect, you might see the answer Drexel leading Syracuse at halftime 33-32 in the Carrier Dome. That's right, the Dragons came out and took the lead over the Orange early thanks to some hot shooting, but all 3 Boeheims, Jim, Buddy, and Jimmy said at halftime the message was clear. A change needed to be made.
We thought we were sloppy. We didn't come out how we wanted to. Drexel's a really good team. I mean, they played in the NCAA tournament last year, and it was kind of a wake-up call. So we had a fire under us.
So coming into halftime, we got to be ready to play coming out of the gate. We can't get out to those slow starts. We know that, but made some really good adjustments in the second half, and we played with a lot of really good energy. I think in the second half, the fans were great. It was fun to hear them.
Second half, we changed our rotation a little bit defensively, which we should have been able to do sooner. And we got to the shooters and able to take tough shots.
So that change was made, and the Orange ended up getting the victory 75-60 in the Carrier Dome. They ran away with it after the halftime break. Up next for SU is Colgate this coming weekend in the Carrier Dome, and one area that SU still does need to improve on is rebounding. Despite the fact that Drexel didn't have anybody in its starting lineup taller than 6'8", the Dragons out-rebounded the Orange, so that'll be something to look forward to next weekend. Until then, reporting from the Carrier Dome, I'm John Dales, CitrusTV.
That's John Dales. Now, coming up after the break, Syracuse field hockey went dancing last weekend. Plus, women's basketball tips off its season. OTB will be back in 90 seconds.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
We continue to roll along on the bench. Jaron May, Johnny Gadamowitz in the CitrusTV studio. Johnny, we're about to get into SU field hockey going dancing, so I got to ask, what's your best dance move?
Oh, my best dance move, Jaron. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a disco guy. It's a throwback, but I'll whip it out every now and again.
Okay,
Don't you worry.
I like that. I like to envision Ainge Bradley's best move is the moonwalk. I have no reasoning why, but that's what I like to think about. But let's get back on track. Bradley's squad, the Orange, made it to the semifinals in the ACC tournament, earning themselves an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament for the 15th time in program history. The first dance partner, fourth-seeded Penn State, a familiar foe in the postseason play, as the Orange hold a 3-1 advantage over the Nittany Lions. Let's check out and see if they made it 4-1. Game being played down in College Park, Maryland, and Syracuse and Penn State. This one started off a little slow. Syracuse, a couple opportunities on the offensive side. Corrine Comans with the miss, a good save for the Brie Barrico. Then, finally, the Orange get one on the board. Claire Cook with the goal. Corrine Comans gets the assist this time. It's 1-0 Syracuse. Couple minutes later, the Orange shut down, but they do outshoot the Nittany Lions 6-3 in that first half. After the break, Syracuse finally found some offense. Haley Bitters, Wilhelmine Bogart with this last one. Look at that high touch right over the goalkeeper, and Syracuse would go up 3-0. The Orange just kept it going. Kept it going and kept it going, getting out to a comfortable 4-1 lead, and that's exactly how it would end. Syracuse wins the top 10 battle, so they would move on to the second round of the NCAA tournament, and that also being played in College Park, Maryland, this time against the Terrapins, who are number 5 in the country. Another top 10 battle for SU. Syracuse getting some offense on the first couple drives. Haley Bitters wide left, and then the Terrapins would get on the board after the halftime break. We would go scoreless, not a lot of offense, and here we go. Finally, Terrapins, there you go. It's Anna Castellato, 1-0 Maryland. The Terrapins just kept putting the pressure on the offensive side of the ball, 9-4, outshooting Syracuse in the second half. But all you need is one shot, and Avka von den Nieuwenhof with the penalty corner. Whew, that was a heater from the outside. We are tied up. 12 minutes to go. Not anymore. Bibi Donabat. And you can see, wow, look at that sadness on the faces of Syracuse field hockey as their season wraps up. 2-1 loss to Maryland. They get to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Now that tournament into the Final Four. So we check out the full bracket. Maryland into the Final Four. That's going to wrap up this upcoming weekend.
It's no secret that a lot has changed for Syracuse women's basketball. Former head coach Quentin Hillsman is gone after allegations of misconduct, including bullying. With it, 11 players are gone, 7 new players are in, and amidst it all, only 3 returners from last year's team. Only one of them with any sort of serious playing time under her belt. But based on the season opener, you would think that this squad had time to gel and figure it out. Syracuse taking on Monmouth in that season opener, opening the year in the non-con slate. And for the Orange, Christiana Carr is a new face that you want to get to know. The transfer out of Kansas State, taking advantage, finds Chrislyn Carr, no relation there, Christiana and Chrislyn Carr, maybe the 2 best players on this Orange team. It was Jayla Thornton connecting on a mid-ranger there. Alasia Stiles down low later on. Yeah, a lot of new names, a lot of new faces, but they were clicking here early for SU. Syracuse up big, 25-9 in the second quarter, and that Orange defense absolutely stifling. They got the transition game going as well. This time Nia Wilson knifing down that right lane and laying it in easily, and Monmouth was really just no match. You can't give Tisha Hyman that much room. She's one of those 3 returners, missed all of last year with an ACL injury. Najee Murray in the corner. The Orange were just pouring it on. I think you get the moral of the story at this point. Hyman again would pull up from mid-range, and a lot of it coming off of those Monmouth turnovers and miscues left and right for the Hawks. 87-46, the final. So this was game number 1. Game number 2 was actually the ACC opener against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Look, it's not the same Notre Dame team that was consistently going to Final Fours back in 2017, 2018, but they still came to play. And early on, Sam Brunel gave the Irish a double-digit lead late stages first quarter. Syracuse needed an answer, and Chrislyn Carr provided it with the right wing 3. Orange cut it to 5, but Notre Dame and Dara Mabry says, anything you can do, Chrislyn Carr, I can do better. Najee Murray answers herself on the other end for Syracuse. So these 2 teams really trading blows in the first half. Notre Dame with a 6-point lead. And then, of course, during halftime, we mentioned it before, Felicia Leggett-Jack is having her number 33 honored in SU history forever, raised up into the rafters. Long overdue moment, and she gets a nice ovation from the SU crowd on hand. Second half, Tisha Hyman pulls up, that time not even close, and it was brick after brick for SU in the third quarter, and that allowed Notre Dame to really go on a run of its own, as Syracuse just could not get anything going. And in the fourth quarter, Mabry, she's a 3-point specialist, and for good reason. SU didn't pick her up. Maddie Westbeld getting involved. And then you see Notre Dame creating the turnover here, even up by 20. They're still wreaking havoc. Orange drop it 82-56 the final. Really a story of 2 games. Could not have been more different for Syracuse. Only 7 bench points for the Orange in that loss to the Irish. SU held scoreless for nearly the final 8 minutes of the game. When we come back, still a whole lot to get to. We'll get you up to speed on everything you need to know SU volleyball related, as their season is coming towards the finish line. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
OTN is on all your favorite apps: Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Search Orange Television Network or OTN. OTN has its best shows, short films, and CitrusTV on demand. Family and friends can watch OTN too. Watch the live stream of OTN to catch live CitrusTV news, live from Studio B, and mornings on the Hill. On or off campus, watch OTN anywhere.
Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us on the Bench from the CitrusTV studio. Jaron May, joined by Johnny Gadamowitz. Johnny, now it's time to hit the court for SU volleyball. The Orange started the season 14-2. They were at the top of the ACC and looked like they could challenge for the conference title. Since then, Syracuse has gone 2-8, dropping to 12th in the conference. The road didn't get any easier with number 3 Pittsburgh visiting the women's building on Friday. Pittsburgh, Syracuse, old Big East rivals, two teams that know each other a lot, and Pittsburgh coming in with just 2 losses on the season, the number 3 team in the country, so you have to play perfect, right? Well, no, that's not what Syracuse does to start this one. A service error from Lauren Hogan, so Pitt easily cruises to a 1-0 lead in the sets category. Second set, well, it was all Pitt again. The Panthers jump out to a 2-0 lead. So the Orange, with their backs against the wall, finally, they get some defense, and it comes from Abby Cassiano and Marina Markova, the block, and Syracuse would grab set number 3. So it's 2-1, still in favor of Pitt, but the Orange tie it up. 2-2 ball game heading into the 5th and final set. Who can get to 15? Syracuse backs against the wall. It's 14-9, Markova outside. Pitt grabs a 3-2 win in the first game of the weekend. That second game, FSU comes to town 2 days later on Sunday. The Seminoles coming in with a 10-4 ACC record, still women's building calling this game home, and the Seminoles hopped out to a early start. That's a beautiful touch right there from Andre Koenig. So FSU 1-0 in set number 1. Set number 2, look to Thor's hammer. Markova, Shimanova, 19 and 15 kills respectively. Both of them help out Syracuse as the Orange grab set number 2, 25-13. Set number 3, here we go. Tied up, 1-1, FSU back into the leaderboard. It's 2-1 Seminoles as they grab the 3rd set. In the 4th, there's a service error, and Syracuse starting to fall apart. The Orange trying to hold on, but the Seminoles just too much, as FSU would grab a 3-1 victory over Syracuse, and after it, our own Annie Claff was in the women's building to recap it all.
Syracuse volleyball fell in 4 sets today to Florida State, who is currently 5th in the ACC. The Orange came out slow but crushed the Seminoles 25-13 in the 2nd set. SU could not continue on this trend, and head coach Jaron says that this has to do with a lack of communication.
In the 2nd set, when we was winning, we almost didn't have these situations. It's only when we were getting behind, and that's what we was losing leadership on the floor, who would be confident enough, call those kind of balls, and get its easy balls.
Throughout the season, Coach Jaron has stressed the importance of staying mentally focused throughout the entire match. With today's total 15 attack errors, junior Abby Cassiano explains the effect of feeling mentally drained.
We mentally were exhausted, and we could not get ourselves in check to have that fire, have that drive to push.
Looking ahead, the Orange have their senior day next weekend right back here in Syracuse. Coach Jaron says that it will be a matter of pushing emotions aside come the start of the match.
We still have to do our job, so it's up to the players, to very quick in a couple of minutes to switch from all this introduction and all this emotional things, and get you focused to the game, so you're done.
SU will host Duke next Sunday at 1. The last time the two competed, Syracuse came away with a straight set sweep. Reporting from the women's building, Annie Claff, CitrusTV.
Back up.
From a cross-country standpoint, plenty of Orange players were atop the leaderboard at this week's Northeast Regional Championship. On the men's side, Aiden Tooker finished 3rd overall with a 30-minute and 15-second time, while his Orange teammate Joe Dragon finished a few spots behind him in 6th, 7 seconds behind him to be exact. The Cuse men won the team title, and with it, an automatic spot to the NCAA championships. It's the 7th NCAA Northeast Regional Championship for the SU men in the last 8 times the event has been held, the Orange finishing with 51 points. From the women's standpoint, only one member of the Orange finished in the top 10, but she took the cake. Amanda Vestry outpaced the competition by a full 23 seconds. Vestry just continues what's been a tremendous fall season for her, and obviously she's a big reason why the Orange are going to nationals. The second time in the last 3 years in the last 3 times the event has been held, that Syracuse, the women, have won the event. Shannon Malone did it back in 2018 as well. Not done just yet here on the Bench. On the other side of the break, it's time for everybody's favorite segment, Performers of the Week. Lots of worthy candidates. Stay tuned to see who earns the bragging rights.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy. You, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Wrapping up shop here on the Bench. Welcome back into the Citrus TV studio. He's Johnny Gadamowitz. I am Jaron May, and those, wait, where are they? Those are our performers of the week. There we go. Who are they, you might ask? Well, let's reveal them. Johnny, I will let you go first.
All right, Jaron. Well, we have to start out with Amanda Vestry. We spoke about her a few minutes ago. Already was a top finisher for Syracuse in the ACC Cross Country Championships, and she followed it up by giving it to the competition in the regionals. Next best finisher, a full 23 seconds behind her, an impact player to the 10th degree ever since transferring to the Orange from Iowa State back in 2019. It's great to see her cruising through her senior campaign.
Absolutely. She has been impressive, and she's leading that cross-country team, who is absolutely elite. So she's number one. Numero dos goes to who else but Buddy Boeheim. You can call him Buddy Buckets, Buddy Bullseye, Buddy whatever. He is plain and simple a baller this season. Through the first two games, the senior is averaging 21 points on 40% shooting from deep and adding 5 assists on top of that. Boeheim earns the title this week, and I'm sure this won't be the final time he's up on this board.
Very worthy of number 2, to say the least. Number 3, Felicia Leggett-Jack. A moment that was long overdue. No one more fitting than Felicia Leggett-Jack to be the first woman to have her jersey hung up in the rafters. When her playing career came to an end in the mid-'80s, she retired as SU's all-time leader in points and rebounds. More than 30 years later, Jaron, she's still top 10 in those categories. A special day for her.
A special day for the entire program, a special day and a special year for women's sports here at Syracuse. Felicia Leggett-Jack retiring her number 33. 2 other female athletes also getting their numbers retired here at Syracuse University. And this is the 50th year of female sports at Syracuse University. Super awesome, super meaningful, and it's a great way to start with Felicia Leggett-Jack. That'll do it for this edition of On the Bench. For Johnny Gadamowitz, I'm Jaron May. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now, enjoy your images of the week.
In the air as Syracuse kicks off its 2021-2022 campaign tonight.
Jaron, straight away, bang!
He fires to the right wing, and he switches another.
20 seconds on the shot clock. Oh, Buddy Williams!
Defense there, big block, Williams! Oh my goodness!
Drive, little scoop pass to Jesse Edwards. He hammers it home. Swire, not bashful.
75-60 Syracuse over Drexel. A 2-0 start for the Orange at the Dome.